Foundation models are quietly disrupting the medical imaging software stack, faster than anyone has ever anticipated. Hi, my name is Vladimir Kozynchenko, and I'm a senior market analyst at Signify Research, where I spent the last 6 months working on a report focused on generative AI in medical imaging and clinical IT. Over the last few months, I've been speaking to close to 100 stakeholders within the industry, trying to understand how generative AI and foundation models are changing the market landscape, the competitive dynamic, and product evolution roadmaps. Within the report, we dive into 4 segments, focusing on medical imaging, digital pathology, diagnostics and clinical use, as well as reporting and workflow solutions. But the report goes beyond that. It looks how ISVs, OEMs, and other vendors are shifting their product evolution maps to accommodate for generative AI and foundation model transition. But before we continue, I want to take a step back and define what generative AI is and what it isn't. There is a big conflation within the industry, saying that foundation models and generative AI are the same thing, but they're not. Foundation models are large models pre-trained on a large corpus of data, and generative AI use those foundation models to deliver generative applications. But not all foundation models are generative, which is key in medical imaging AI. Some can be used for segmentation and classification. And so, within our latest research, we see 3 strategic shifts that I'd like to highlight. So the first one is regulation. It's not slowing, it's adapting. We're seeing a lot of healthcare providers right now developing and deploying foundation model solutions using the exemptions such as EU MDR Article 5 exemption or in US FDA's exemption of practice of medicine, whereby healthcare providers are now able to deploy their own models in the hospitals without regulatory oversight, the same way that traditional AI vendors would, which poses an existential risk for ISVs. Another shift we noted is there is a strategic change in how pricing is done, shifting away from license or usage pricing models, as foundation models, which are open source, enable providers and others within the industry to essentially train the models for free, if you exclude the cloud compute costs. And last is that we're starting to see a strategic divergence of different vendors. Some are choosing to develop their own models, whilst others decide to build on top of the infrastructure, focusing on development and fine-tuning, partnering with hyperscalers. There is also a third segment who seem to be waiting, and they risk being irrelevant. If you're building, investing, or partnering within generative AI in medical imaging and diagnostic space, this report gives you the clarity that you need. You can download the brochure for the report now, or alternatively feel free to reach out directly to me. Let's make sure that your strategy is future-proofed before the foundations shift any further.